Hi everyone. We are back with a new episode on ethics at the workplaces. But today in this episode, we are going to talk about those nitty-gritties, those things that you do at workplaces. But before anything, this is Clona Conversation. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, spend your time. Omanyenti, you're going to get value for money, value for time, value for your data. Today in the house, I have the beautiful, the humble, the English-speaking girl, the censored, the thought-through, the girls you see in office and say, hey, Mama, when will I ever be like that? How are you? Why are you laughing? The intro. The intro is just too much. She's not humble, but she is those girls you look at and say, hey, Mom, Masha has arrived.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Hi, Lois.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay, how are you?
I am sure I chose the right person.
Let's pray. Yes. Let's have the conversation and see where it takes us.
We want to talk about ethics at workplaces.
Ethics at the workplace. Yes. One of my favorite topics. How did you know?
I don't know. Spirit of the living God.
Indeed. It was the Spirit speaking. That's true.
Yes. So, how have you been?
I've been well. I am. I'm good. I'm in a good space.
Who are you, so that people
and
can
I'm happy.
Saga.
My name is Doris Miti Nachiwala Chimoli. It's a mouthful. I am a communications and PR specialist, but before that, I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a child of God. I am a lover of life. Yeah, I eat life with a big spoon.
I'm a witness.
And I am I'm a professional as well. I've done so many things. Maybe we'll uncover some of them as we talk.
With this topic, I'll allow you to give us a simple preview of your CV.
Of my CV?
Yes, because people need to know that when you're telling us these things, you're not just getting them off the internet, TikTok. You actually lived them, you know them, and that's who you are.
Okay, that's good validation. Well, professionally, well, book-wise, I have 3 degrees. So I have a bachelor's degree in the French language.
Wow.
I have a master's degree.
So for example, bonjour.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Non, madame. Vous êtes madame.
The next one.
Je peux continuer en français? So I have a bachelor's degree in French. I have a master's in translation from French to English. And then I also have a master's in communication, public relations, and media.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the what?
Yes.
What did you say?
What? Which part?
I wasn't sure. What else? I didn't know you. Now I know you.
So, and professionally, I started out my career in the dream place I had been dreaming about since I was 9 years old at the United Nations. So I spent 6 years in the UN circles, 2 years at the World Bank, and then moved back to Uganda and spent some time in government. Where exactly? I don't want people to remember. Well, I was first of all the first director for communications and public relations at the Uganda Investment Authority.
Director? Did you say director?
Yes, at a young age, God's grace, about 30 years old, and I built the communications department and grew it. And then moved on to create another agency called the Uganda Free Zones Authority, also a government entity, still in existence. I still love the fact that they still use the logos and the brands and everything that we created. I don't want to take all the credit. And finished my work career at the Aga Khan Development Network, where I was their regional director for communication, managing the entire East African regional communications for the huge network that's the Aga Khan network. Most of us know bits and pieces, but it's really huge. Then I stepped out and I said, okay, I want to go explore, discover who I am. I knew I had a passion for for things that made a difference in society. I wanted to be hands-on. I wanted to make a difference in the life of a child, in the life of a woman. And I went and volunteered for an NGO called the Remnant Generation that takes care of teenage mothers and sexually abused young girls. Grew that organization from a little small entity to what it is now. I'm proud to see how it is today. And yeah, then I finally stepped out and I said, okay, I guess I can do that well. Now I'm growing my company, Seller Consult, a communications and public relations firm. And really my ethos is to grow small brands into big brands. Especially my heart is for non-governmental organizations because they have a story, they're doing amazing work, but they don't have the resources to build their brand, to get the funding the way they should, and to tell their stories. So that's where my heart is at the moment.
I've never been so humble. It's not normal for me to sit here and I listen like this, but I've been so humbled. So with that CV, I wasn't aware, by the way. I knew some things, but I'm like, okay, am I even allowed to sit here? I want to go and see.
No, that's just me.
Thank you so much, Doris, for sharing your life and your CV. Now, in the world today, we have people who go into the employment world, young, old, even mature people. I've seen people in commissioner places, management roles, director roles, but the code of behavior, the code of conduct is lacking. And when recently I realized that there was also an issue of capacity building, lack of capacity building.
Yes.
They didn't have mentorship, they didn't know what to do. And like us, who are me and you, who are able to go in organizations where we're trained, given the exposure, we got a little bit of that. Many of these people don't. So I was like, who am I? Let me share this with these people. So how can these people behave right in their workplaces?
Behaving.
Now we know we are talking to the right person. You can do
behaving.
French.
Yeah, behaving right in the workplace is actually, first of all, you have to be intentional about it. Unfortunately, not all of us are trained or find the right mentors. I was lucky when I was starting out my career. My first job at the UN, I was in UNDP, and my boss was, I call him my very first mentor who believed in me, because I would go in and he would say, Doris, when you walk into the office, when you walk into my office, and I've called you as a boss, always carry a pen and a paper. It's the first thing I tell every person who comes to work with me. If I say, Lois, come to me, come to my desk, and you come swinging your hands, I will look at you and tell you, always carry a pen and paper when you're coming to speak to me.
Phone.
No, I'm traditional, and that's also another thing. We have new ways of working, but there's still the traditional, because I still think the basics and the fundamentals still work, and they still go a long way. So I had this gentleman as a mentor, because it was tough, because sometimes you walk in and you forget how to address people. Sometimes you just want to say, hi, Lois, but to you, to me, to her, she's Mrs. Chisamba. So how do you learn to bridge, not to cross that gap? You know, because I would sit in this meeting, because I was a personal assistant to the resident coordinator, a title they call special assistant to the UN resident coordinator, which gave me direct access to the other UN agency heads. But they were also my friends out of the workplace. So I would meet them and I would say, hi, Angela, hi, John, hi, Simon. And then you come into the meeting and then I would say, yes, Angela was going to tell us something. My boss would take a look at me. Next time, after the meeting, I'm in his office, and he says, in this space, they are not Angela to you. They are Miss Keita, Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so. You can be John, Angela, wherever you are. So those were quick lessons.
Does that matter?
Does that matter? Again, we are in the workspace. Let me be the one to tell you how to address me if we're in a professional environment. Calling me Angela when we are at a diplomatic cocktail and you are my junior or, you know, my employee might not come off very well. You know, I'd love to say, hey, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir, something like that. Just a little bit of respect, so you don't cross that familiarity bridge.
So what I'm learning is that you have to be intentional, but also have to know how to address people. So basically how you communicate matters.
How you communicate matters a lot. That's one thing. And then other things you pick up as you go along. If you're in the workspace, you're working closely with your boss, you begin to understand how they do things, what they do. Just 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with my admin and my finance ladies, and I told them, look, you are supposed to manage me.
Yes.
If you read John Maxwell's book, The 360 Degrees Leader, he says, so if you remember, Math 360 degrees is all the way, yeah? So you lead at the top, you lead at the bottom, you lead on the sides. So on the sides are your peers. You and I, we're in the same organization, we're both admins, or we're both program officers.
Yeah.
We are peers. Below us, maybe as program officers, maybe we have program assistants and interns and cleaners and whatever. Above us, we have our bosses. So you have to learn how to lead at all those levels. The way I lead my boss at the top is by bringing value to the table, to them. So how do I bring value? Find out, so my boss is going to a meeting and I have set up the meeting. I've been told he's going to meet Clona. By the time he goes to meet Clona, he has a whole file
about Clona.
On who Clona is. She's the head of admin in this organization. The conversation is about this, and she would like to talk to you about ABC. Or we are going, if we're going there and we're the ones who need Clona, we are going to talk about 1, 2, 3 things, and that's what we're going to talk about with Clona.
That's how you add value to your boss.
You add value to your boss. You do their research for them.
We are going for a break, but we are still at Canary Hotel Bokoto, the best place to be. It has rooms, very affordable. We have a good restaurant, good meals. We have gardens in Chanja for those that are preparing weddings, kwanjula, party, kupati, bridal shower, those exquisite birthdays. That's the place to go. For now, let's go for a break. We are coming back with tips on how to behave in our place.
Obulamu obweyagaza butandika n'amaka amayooyoote obulungi. Tuukiriza ekirooto ky'okwezimbira ennyumba naffe ku ZEC Systems. Tukuleetedde Birds View Estate Kavule. Poloti zaffe nsava ate nga ssente ntono nnyo. Ku miliyoni 15 zokka weefunire poloti eya 5 ku 10. Poloti zaffe nteeketeeke bulungi kubanga amazzi n'amasannyalaze weebiri. Birds View Estate Kavule esangibwa ku Semuto Road kilomita 8 okuva e Matugga. Ate wulira kino, ensasula ya mpola mpola. Tulina ne poloti mu bitundu ebirala nga Bugema ku miliyoni 19, Dundu miliyoni 23, Namayumba miliyoni 8 ne Busiika miliyoni 17. Tukubireko oba tukyalire ku ofiisi zaffe e Matugga ne Kampala. ZEC Systems ku lw'enkulaakulanayo.
Yes, we are back talking about serious matters as who sit in rolling chairs and we turn. Are we behaving right or you're just swinging, madam? This is for you. Dorcas, you're still telling us how to manage our bosses because I didn't know that I have to manage bosses. I thought they manage us.
No, you really do have to manage your boss.
You have to help them execute their work better.
Yes, help them execute their work better.
Yes.
If there are things like picking up a child and you know they're supposed to pick up their kid at a certain point, but because they're busy they forget, be the reminder. You're like, excuse me.
Mom.
Hi, mom. Excuse me, mom. It's 12. It's 4. You need to pick up so and so.
Really?
Yes. That is part of it's not and now I'm looking at a scenario if someone was, say, like a personal assistant. Those are some of the subtle things. And I like the personal assistant job because it's the one where most young people learn the best about a workspace, a place, and working in a work environment, because you learn how to manage people. You learn to manage expectations. You, at a very young age, at the start of your career, it is so good. Now, I was talking about leading along the line, your peers,
managers,
how you manage, how the conversations you have, how you communicate with them. You're not putting them down. You're asking for their input. You're saying, okay, can we do this together? Teamwork. So that's where that whole teamwork thing comes in. That at no point does the ball get dropped at your desk and then it doesn't move to the next person. So because you're all in a value chain, and you, at the end of the day, you're reporting and you're making sure the organization comes off looking well. And you have to, if you're the one who picks the paper and this one signs and the other one stamps and the other one dispatches, let the chain be seamless. Don't be the weak link in that chain. The busting tire. No, you know, because they say a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. You do not want to be the weakest link in that chain. And then downwards, again, same thing. How do you talk to your juniors? The way you're being mentored higher up, mentor the young ones, because they are coming to where you are.
You don't want.
But you need to, because you need to aspire to the next level.
Exactly.
So mentor them to get to your level, so you can, there's no room for you to be there, so you can also go to the next level. You can only go to the next level if your boss sees that you have these qualities.
Capacity.
You build, even for yourself, that you are building capacity, and they're thinking, you know what, Lois ono wali tachajawo kamwongereyo, next level, better responsibility, more. By the way, responsibility comes from the fact that they have seen you be a good leader at all levels. Yeah, so that's just on leadership.
On how to manage and how to lead everyone in the 360.
Yes.
Not only you.
Not only you.
Can you imagine? I thought I knew. Then anyway, I knew that, but thank you, Doris. Now, the other thing I want to know, and I want these people to know, is how else do you work? Now that we have learned the management, the surrounding, the people below you, the people near in your line, the people above you, the other things.
So there are other things,
yes. Communication on email.
Yes. So there are other things like accountability, creativity.
We are no longer creative.
You know, some of us, even guilty, myself, we don't delegate well, or we don't even teach well, but we shall say, do this, do this, do this, and I leave you.
I throw in the deep end.
I throw in the deep end, because that's how I was trained. So I'm using what I know. Most of us use our experience. That's how I know. So I need you to get in there, open that laptop, do your research, come up with things, and then you're creative. I don't want to see you sitting there waiting.
So being creative is part of work ethic.
Yes, being creative is key.
How you do your work.
How do you do your work? How accountable are you?
What is accountability?
Accountability. How are you accountable with your time? When you talk about accountability, people think
money.
It's money.
Yes,
It's many things. Time accountability is key. If we said we have a meeting at this time and we need to be there, and you know, we are all saying very many bad things about Gen Zs.
Aren't you a Gen Z?
Me? Wow.
You know.
I'm so... I've given birth to Gen Zs.
You've given
so
birth
my children are Gen Zs and the newest group, Gen Alphas.
I know.
So their time management concepts is different. They will get up and then you've said, guys, every Monday, 9 a.m., staff meeting, whatever. Madam, something came up, and that is if they actually communicate. Most times they don't.
Communicate.
Other times, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying that's just Gen Z. It's a general thing. It's a general trend.
Isn't it a Ugandan thing?
Again, I don't want to bunch Ugandans as such terrible people.
Recently, I met a Kenyan, two Kenyans in
Yeah,
different spaces.
and they said
who
it's a Kenyan thing.
I think Ugandans, for them, because there's food, there is too much peace. No sense of urgency. Someone can tell you I'm coming, then after 2 hours they're saying I can't make it.
Yes, and lack of communication. That's also work ethic. Communicate. Even if you tell me on Sunday evening, when I've said that we have a meeting at 9 on Monday, and send me a message at 8 p.m. and say, I'm sorry, madam, this and this came up. I can't make it for 9. That is fine. I'm not there to strangle you for not being there at 9. Life happens to all of us. Probably even I am struggling to wake up. I don't want to wake up and be there at 9. But, you know, I'll communicate. So if you tell me, madam, I'm like, okay. So communication, creativity, accountability, those are key.
Being creative and innovative help in your workplaces?
In our workplaces, again, I want to see you thinking. I don't want to see you...
Not just there.
I don't want to see you regurgitating. Those were times of our parents. And yeah,
Cycling,
them they were done. They came, they got a paper file, they followed everything in the paper and packed and went home and they were satisfied. Our generation, we are not satisfied. You cannot be satisfied with the status quo. You should be creating every moment. You should be coming to me and saying,
Madam,
I think this is it. I think this will work. We were talking about sales and marketing the other day. I have seen this. You should see what these kids are doing to me. I'm on TikTok. Manya saying what? I'm like, why am I on TikTok for crying out loud? And then they tell me, Madam, this is the thing. It will sell. Kati, recently they posted my workspace and they put a video. The soundtrack is bulijjo mugamba mumanje tuli kati wano tuliwa and then my face is there and I'm like, oh my God, why am I in this soundtrack?
But you're being creative.
And then the boy tells me, if you check the views analytics for this soundtrack, it is
flying.
It's flying. I'm like, whatever you say works.
I know.
I am good.
I know.
So even for us, we need to get off our high horse and off our traditional horse and understand that these young people know stuff. But I want you to come to me and tell me, ma'am, you see, this page I created for so-and-so, for Clona, it has this many views.
Yes.
I have used these kinds of soundtracks and it's working. It can work for you. I will submit. I will say,
The question is, how flexible are the bosses when we are creative and innovative?
yeah.
And then our creativity is usually terminated by the financial implications that come with it. So those are the excuses. And those are the comments people in Clona Convention are going to give me.
Yes.
So how do you go about it?
And financial, that one, even me, I will say no to it because, again, you can find a way around it. Creativity still comes in. I'll give you an example. And I'm not talking from an abstract, learned point of view. I'm talking from a practical
point of things.
Yes. Imagine working for a government entity. I used to work for the Uganda Investment Authority. Director communications, and then the authority says every year we must have an Investor of the Year award. You have to look at companies, visit them, categorize them. Okay, people apply, you categorize them, then you visit the top 3, do videos for them, and then finally on the Investor of the Year award ceremony, you unveil the winner. And then you so happily put together your budget and your boss tells you, this budget is what?
100 million.
300 million.
What is this?
100 million. It's not going to happen.
But
the event has to happen. So what do you do?
Look for
your position, your reputation, your professional character.
Your connections.
Because when we sat in those interviews, we said, I can be Spaniard under pressure. I am
can
creative.
work
I am
hours.
innovative. I can work Spaniard.
So this is the time.
This is the time to prove it. You start writing letters. As long as your boss is okay with it, they are kawaii with you, they are like, I'll sign on this. You write to the airlines. You write to the biscuit companies. You write to the water companies. You write to everybody that you can think of. And then you tell them, when you sponsor this event, your name will be like this. This will happen. This will happen.
And they are happy to sponsor.
And they're happy to sponsor.
And you are very creative and innovative.
And you have an amazing event that has, and you have brought together over $50,000 from different sponsors.
Can imagine.
And on top of that, there are sponsors like the airlines. They've even given you air tickets for the winners to travel. Lodges and tourist places have given you accommodation for 2 nights for the. And I kid you not, if you go and check, those I have on my record.
To being innovative. But Doris, as we close, I want you to talk about the appearance in our workplaces. How we appear, how we dress, how we look, the hair, the nails, the makeup, because we're in the era of makeup. We show up with red lipstick and we ban you like rubbish.
Wow.
Is that okay?
That one?
Yes.
It's a deal breaker for me.
Really, for you?
As in,
but in
if
general,
you come looking anyhow, I can actually fire you.
I'm actually just cute. With lashes, long nails.
No. What I'm saying is, if I don't see any effort on your part,
all you did is you put on clothes.
You, as one of our friends says, zona ngoye. No,
show up.
You cannot show up in my presence. Ngazona ngoye. Yes.
Because I thought if you're doing well with your KPIs, key performance indicators, even if you show up in
Clona, even before you go there, there's an interview to go through. There's a first impression. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So if you walk to me, recently I had an episode, I was looking for an assistant. A lady came to me. I'm sorry. Her weave had been in that hair for, I think, 5 months. The hair, it was starting here. The hair was here. Like,
you don't have money.
I know. Money doesn't make you look good. Combing out your hair, holding a nice puff, putting chizigo and on your lips, baby ndunya, and your lips just shine. And your kasige looks like yours of Lois really. So, personal presentation. Presentation can break you or make you. It can make people open doors for you or close doors for you.
Wow.
I read somewhere where it said that women who wear high heels have a 60% more chance of getting the job or being recognized than someone who walks in flat shoes.
Doris, this conversation ends when it is hot.
No.
I want you to wrap up.
Before that, yes, as I wrap up.
Yes.
So presentation matters. How you speak, how you talk, how you carry yourself. It matters a lot. Take care of your personal hygiene, of your look. Professional work ethics are such a wide range of things. And Kankubeyo Kadakalango, Seller Consult does do training.
So you can actually train people in their staff on how to behave, how to look,
professionalism,
how to communicate.
I call it professional and personal effectiveness, how to be effective in your workplace.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, but thank you for having me.
That's the Kalango. Kalango Kongerem. Lunga. Please listen.
Seller Consult is a communications and PR firm.
Yes.
And one of the things that we do under that is personal branding and image. We want your image to look great. We want your company to look great. So in that image is your staff image, your brand image, and brand image, we're talking your logo, your workspace. When people walk in, how does your office look like? Does it kisikiriza bwonsaba miliyoni 10 naye nensanga nga we mutudde looks like, you know, it's in Katanga and the paint is peeling. Is it worth it? What's your personal brand? What's your public brand? What's your organization saying to the public? How do you... So those are some of the things we work with organizations on, just building their public image through public relations and communication, and yeah. That's Seller Consult.
So if you're struggling with your staff, your employees, or even your employer doesn't really know what to do, Seller Consult is here to help you. But as we go, we are here at Canary Hotel Bokoto, and we have Canary Gardens in Chanja, the place for your weddings. This is the events period. Please do not skip. The place is very near public roads, Kaboda, Kakute, Kawao, Uba Wesley. So just show up to the gardens and have a weekend there. We have paint and sip. We have children's bouncing castles, swimming, and all the face painting. For those that stay in Chisasi, Chanja, that's the place you should go on Sundays. I'll not continue this conversation. It was hot. I intended to make you know how you behave in a workplace. I hope you learned something. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.